Yeah, hello. I'm Paul Sedui, the current president of the Opal Association. This is Ross Sedui, who's a gemologist. We'd like just to talk to you about fake and treated opal today. Now, opal is such a stunning stone, it's obvious someone's going to try and duplicate it. So what we have, first of all, is some opal that's, I call it fake opal if it's not earth mined. But Ross, can you explain the differences with this imitation opal?
So gemologically, there's you have natural opals and then you have fake opals. Fake opals fall into two different categories. There's simulants and then there's synthetic opals. So a simulant, firstly, is a stone that's created to look like an opal. So it could be made of glass, it could be made of plastic, has very different physical properties to a natural opal. But you might take glass, put some aluminium foil in there that reflects light and looks like an opal, and that would be called a simulant opal. The other side is a synthetic opal. Synthetic gemstones, they have the same chemical composition, the same properties, physical properties and optical properties as a natural opal, but they're created in a lab. So today we just wanted to show you a couple of examples of some simulants and a couple of synthetic opals that we've got here.
Yeah, so I just like to keep it simple. If it's not earth mined, it's fake. And what I have here is an interesting piece of opal. You can see how it's been cut on the bar. It's a digital pattern, which is common with this opal. If you bought the rough to cut it, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to smell plastic. Well, what are your comments on that, Ross?
So this is a typical synthetic opal. You can see the rough piece here has got what they call a column structure going through it. So if we turn this on the side, you'll be able to see some nice opal patterns, but if we turn it right on the edge, you'll be able to see the column structure that's formed from the synthetic opal.
This one, yeah.
This piece is probably a little bit better to show the column structure. And what you've got, you can see there very clearly the columns of colour that run up and down the synthetic opal. So the reason why there's columns is because in the lab, when they're growing this opal, what happens is the silica spheres, they drop down and they all settle on the bottom of a dish and they build up on top of each other. So over time you get these columns of colour which doesn't occur in natural opal. So we've cut this opal on the wrong way around. It should be facing this way, so you've got the nice opal colour. We've purposely cut it this way so that you can see the nice column structure of the synthetic opal. So this is a pattern and an appearance that just doesn't occur in natural opal.
Yeah, have a look at this piece, another piece of opal. It's
Slocum stone. So this one here is it's a piece of man-made glass. We'll turn it on the side. You can see it's just a piece of glass, and inside that glass there's little pieces of film that reflect light and make it look like an opal. So this one here, as opposed to the ones that we just showed you, this one here doesn't have the same properties as natural opal. So this is a man-made glass, has all the properties of glass. If you were to test the refractive index, specific gravity, etc., it all has the property of glass.
This is an interesting piece I have here. This piece was actually sold to a dealer as a piece of Tintinbar opal. That's an area in northern New South Wales. It gets a lot of large amber type of material. And what are your comments on this, Ross?
So this was a really interesting piece when we first saw it. We tested the refractive index, came in at 1.41, which is very close to opal. Opal's around the 1.45, and it varies by location. It's gone down to 1.37 up to 1.45. So when we tested this piece, had the refractive index of what looked like opal, but we check under the microscope, and under the microscope we can clearly see gas bubbles, flow lines, and that is a strong indicator that this is a resin, a plastic resin that someone has made. And all the colours that you can see in there are very thin pieces of foil that reflect the light and make it look like a opal. So this is what we would call an opal simulant. It doesn't have the same properties as a natural opal, and yet it looks beautiful, it looks like an opal.
Yeah, so now we're finished with all the fake opal. I'd like to show you, this is natural opal that's been treated. This is a bit of antimuka matrix. When it's found, it's more in a white condition. It's virtually heated and treated, and it comes out with this dark colour. and you can polish it. So that's a nice double-sided stone. It's most matrix has a unique sort of pattern to it, and this you'll find a fair bit of material around. It's still a very attractive stone, and the treatment is fairly permanent. There's another stone of matrix which we call fairy opal. This is a piece of fairy opal rough which is found in Queensland. They do the same treatment and it comes out an attractive stone, but normally a very fine pattern. As the stone is porous, you can't get a good finish on it, so they use resin. So just remember, any stone with a good resin on it, or looks with a resin, is not a good opal, because good opal doesn't need any resin. You'll be able to polish, get a good polish for it. But our main area of concern today is to talk about a fake opal. It's a treated opal from Wellow that you'll see all over the internet place. It is a natural stone that is hydrophane. Because it's hydrophane, it absorbs moisture, and that is easy to dye or smoke. Now if you look under a microscope, some of this material, if it's smoked, will have little pits in it. This is from the heat and maybe small carbon deposits, but a lot of it now is dyed. So it seems that a lot of the material from Wellow doesn't have any black potch on the back, which is a giveaway, because most black opal does have a black potch or dark grey potch behind it, so that's a good indication. The second indication is that when Wellow is found, the predominant colours is red with some green. Now this colour combination is very rare at the ridge, so in Lightning Ridge. So if you see a lot of opal that is red and green colour and it's domed and black, you can be pretty sure it's been a treated stone. Now what I just have here, this is the Lightning Ridge Miners pricing guide for black opal. I won't open it, it's not ethical to show you what's involved, but for any miner, they should get a couple of $1,000s for this quality stone per carat. It's a very rare stone to find, it's very expensive to find. So you don't expect to buy a flawless 1 carat diamond in the back alleyway in a market stall. You've got to go to a reputable buyer to go and find these stones. And also you've got to, even if there is a certificate of authenticity, make sure who has written it to it. But it is a stone that is very popular. The colour there, it's not a permanent dye. I understand there's 2 types of treatment for the dyeing. One is short term and one is long term. And you'll find over time the Wellow stone will actually die, will lose a bit of its colour. And that's a little bit of a trick one. We have a stone here. This is an N1 stone, very dark. You'll see this is a fairly new find from Indonesia. It loves the full sunlight. It's natural stone. If you tested it, you'd probably find there's a little bit of oil in it, because when they take it off the host clay, they put it in the hot sand to actually get rid of the clay. But if you take that out in the sun, it turns to a piece of black licorice and there's no fire. So that's a good indication of natural Indonesian opal. Well, we hope you enjoyed this and found it informative.
If you have any questions, just post them below. We'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, good luck buying your opals.
All the best. Thank you.